In just moments, fans, it is going to be thunder and lightning, super late model style here at the Hagerstown Speedway. The green flag is out.
And Tyler Emery quickly grabs a gear and heads it off into turn number 1 and 2, right to the bottom of the racetrack. Troutman will be in second. Matt Cosner in third. Going to be Ross Robinson. 3 wide battle further back. Here comes Eckert down to the inside. He, along with the 0 of Andrew Yoder, they are battling hard for the number 5 spot.
It's a high-speed chase coming off turn number 4 and down the front chute of this big half mile here at Hagerstown as Tyler Emery sets the pace. And, buddy, right now it looks like they're using all of the racetrack, down low, through the middle, and even around the top.
Yeah, they're pushing the cushion up top, and a lot of them like to hug that guardrail down to the bottom side. And we've got a whale of a battle for the number 2 position. Cosner and Drake Troutman battling hard.
Emery crosses the line and completes lap number 2. The race for second heats up between Cosner and Drake Troutman. Troutman using the high line through turns 1 and 2. Cosner on the bottom. Looks like he's going to edge out Troutman down the backstretch.
Meanwhile, behind him, a pair of veterans, Ross Robinson, Rick Eckert. They make 4th and 5th. They're nose to tail right now. Yoder back in 6th. Here comes Satterley. He is up to the number 7 spot already and looking for more off turn number 4.
Robinson in the 4th spot. Rick Eckert racing in the top 5 as they move through turns 1 and 2 and down the backstretch. Emery trying to distance himself from that battle for second. He's got about a half straightaway lead.
And right now as he works it off at turn number 4, he is right to the bottom of the guardrail. Cosner is likewise. Troutman still in the high line. Going to be Robinson and Eckert. They are the next 2 drivers in line. Andrew Yoder and Greg Satterley. We got to watch the 22. He's worked himself up into the number 7 position. Right now he's working the outside of Yoder off turn 2.
Cosner racing in Troutman's shadow in that battle for the runner-up spot. Right now Emery is in a race of his own coming off turn number 4 and back to the start-finish line. Still about a half straightaway separating the top 2 drivers. And it looks like Drake Troutman is going to pull into that runner-up spot.
Finally wrestled that position away from Cosner. Matt's not done. The 66C back to the inside. Tries to draw even back in 3 and 4. Troutman will use the high line once again. Going to be Cosner down to the low side off of 4.
Down the front stretch, Tyler Emery completes lap number 6 in this 35-lap main event. Drake Troutman goes to the bottom to protect that runner-up spot as Cosner sticks with him. He's right there on his rear bumper.
It's going to be Emery by about a half-turn advantage over these 2 drivers that have gone hammer and tong with each other. Meanwhile, Ross Robinson, he is comfortably in 4th. But here comes Greg Satterley to the outside of Rick Eckert. He's trying to crack the top 5 early.
Greg Satterley showing some speed now as he catches Rick Eckert in that battle for 5th. He looks to the outside, tries to get alongside Eckert down there in turn number 2. Eckert will hold on to that position, but he's got company, buddy, racing back into turns 3 and 4.
Satterley liking that cushion up top. He rides the high side, and he and Eckert will be dead even when they come back to the stripe. The advantage at the line to Eckert, but the outside line as he go into turn 1 and 2, it may be Satterley by the time it's all said and done, and the battle for second is renewed again.
A battle for 5th and a battle for 2nd out there on the racetrack as the laps wind down here. We got 8. Let's make that 9 laps completed already. And they are side by side racing for second. Drake Troutman powers to the outside. Can he keep the momentum? No. Cosner draws a bead and edges out Troutman for second back into turn number 3.
2x2 racing for the top 5 spots. Caution was going to negate that as Satterley was beginning to work the high side of Ross Robinson. And we have a caution coming down here at lap number 9 of our 35-lap main event.
Yeah, Satterley started 10th, and he is restarting in 5th. The field will break in the wheel and restart zone down there in turn number 4. We are back underway as the green flag goes back up in the air. Lap number 10 is underway, and Emery's going to grab the lead again.
And here's Troutman, or make it Ross Robinson. He's on the high side. He got a good restart. Make it Robinson down to the inside of Troutman. They're going to give me fits with those pairs of 7s. Going to be Cosner back in 4th. Satterley didn't get the start that he wanted, and he's dropped back a couple of notches in the order as we have a good battle for that number 3 spot, Cosner and Robinson.
They were almost 3 wide coming off the 4th turn. Troutman up high. Robinson through the middle. Cosner is down low. Look at this battle for the runner-up spot as Tyler Emery continues to lead the way.
Ross Robinson, you know he had to be thinking, could I thread the needle and go up through the middle off of turn 2? Now he's down to the bottom side of Cosner on the front straightaway, and that's the ongoing battle for the number 3 position. Emery the leader, Troutman second, Cosner and Robinson side by side for 3rd.
Tyler Emery points them into turns 3 and 4. Still a real close battle for the runner-up spot. Looks like we might have a change coming off turn number 4. Drake way up high against the wall, but he's going to hold on to second.
Well, you know, we talk and focus so much about the drivers up front. We talked about Sanderley. He started farther back in the field. Look at the 27 of Trevor Feathers. He has worked himself just outside the top 5. He is up into the number 6 position right now in that 27 machine. Had to go to a backup car, and look at what he's done. This is a guy that won the late model sportsman race earlier this year in this car. Feathers is on the move.
Yeah, he is definitely dialed in. As you mentioned, buddy, he had to start at the rear of his qualifying heat race for switching cars. And just look at him coming through, racing side by side with Greg Satterley now. It's going to be 14 laps down, this time by 14 down, almost to the halfway point.
And it's still all Tyler Emery. We'll watch that ongoing battle between Trevor Feathers and Greg Satterley. That is just outside the top 5. So again, it is the 7 of Ross Robinson. Or make it Troutman. He's running second. Cosner third. Robinson fourth. We haven't talked much about Dylan Yoder in this feature again, but the 24 right up there in the top 5 likewise as he works his way back with Feathers and Satterley behind him.
Yeah, Dylan Yoder with a bunch of podium finishes this year. Looking for that first win of the 2024 racing season. Giving the 24 another good run here tonight at Hagerstown. Ross Robinson in front of him in the 4th spot. Here's Tyler Emery, 16 laps completed. Drake Troutman in second. Matt Cosner third. Robinson fourth. And here comes Trevor Feathers.
He continues that march towards the front, working down to the low line, gets around the 24 of Yoder. He disposed of Greg Satterley. He was just not been up to snuff since the restart. Trevor Feathers has got the hot hand right now at the poker table, and he works it off at turn number 4, top 5, as he shadows the 7 of Ross Robinson.
Emery has about a half straightaway advantage over Drake Troutman, but they are almost ready to catch the tail end of the field as they race back into turns 3 and 4. Tyler Emery is catching the rear of the field pretty fast.
Matt Spinagle will be one of the first drivers he would encounter. It's about a half to quarter straightaway gap from the back of the field to your leader, halfway on the board tonight here in round 3 of Appalachian Mountain Speedweek.
Cross flags being displayed to the field. Tyler Emery already on the backstretch, bringing them around. And by the time he gets into turn number 1, he'll be into the traffic. Here he is by the start-finish line.
$19 on the board. He's going to have Keith Jackson to deal with. Matt Spinagle, as we mentioned, was one of those drivers. Brian Bernheisel in the 119 at the tail end of the field. Troutman openly licking his chops to see whether Emery can deal with these lap cars or not, or whether that will be his closure in this race. Meanwhile, 3rd position, still Cosner. 4th is Robinson. Trevor Feathers made the bid, but now he's dropped back a little bit. Tire wear and the choice of tires. You talked about it earlier. This is a biggie right now.
20 laps on the board, 15 to go. Drake Troutman still has Tyler Emery in his sights. We'll see if the slower traffic slows up our leader at all as they race back into turn number 1, and we'll see if Drake Troutman can reel him in the traffic. Cosner's a close 3rd.
Cosner closing that gap back up a little bit. Again, Emery continuing to work down the back straightaway. We'll see what lap traffic happens and plays what card for this driver. As lap number 22 about to go on the pylon on the back straightaway as Emery works it back to the stripe. Again, Troutman still second. Cosner trying to close. Robinson back in 4th. Feathers 5th. Yoder and Satterley side by side for 6th.
Our leader off turn number 2 down the backstretch. Looks like Troutman and Cosner are gaining some real estate on Tyler Emery as he moves cautiously off turn number 4 behind the traffic here on the front stretch. And we got 23 laps completed. And looks like Ross Robinson is off the pace here on the front stretch in the 7R.
Top break for the Lucas Oil Late Model Series regular, taking advantage of a weekend off and running the Appalachian Mountain Speedweek deal. And Robinson won't be able to make it into the pit area. Caution out on lap 23, and a tough break for the Delaware driver that was running up in the top 5. Satterley just recently won last night at Port Royal. He had the sweep here at Hagerstown. Can he do it? Those 5, and then you got Dylan Yoder right behind him still searching. It's like, well, what about me? Let me check in here as well. Here we go, Steve.
Green flag is back up in the air as they race by the cone and into turn number 1. Emery right away puts some distance between himself and Drake Troutman, but look at Greg Satterley working the outside line off turn 2.
The last restart did not go well for Greg Satterley. It looks like something's changed for him on the tires, and he now goes to work to the outside of Trevor Feathers. Now he almost becomes the meat in the sandwich outside of Cosner. And Cosner looked like he had a little trouble off of turn 4, Steve, because Feathers also got to his inside as well.
Greg Satterley is on the move, showing some speed through the middle of the racetrack. He's going after Drake Troutman, but don't count out that 27 of Trevor Feathers. It is going to be 10 laps to go when they reach the start-finish line. 10 laps to go.
And Satterley trying to make the move on Troutman. He has got Feathers down to the bottom side, Troutman up top. Here comes Greg Satterley down to the bottom side. Almost put the block on side by side for the number 2 spot. Troutman to the high side, Satterley in the middle, and Feathers not far behind.
Wow, Greg Satterley is putting on a show here at Hagerstown in the final 10 laps of the race, and he is going to take over second and track down Tyler Emery now.
Is there enough time? I mean, there are still 9 laps left to go, but he has really had to use up that race car to get around these 2 drivers. Now Feathers wants 3rd. He's to the inside of Troutman. Cosner's back in 5th. Yoder right on the bumper in 6th spot.
In last year's race, it was a 3-wide battle when Greg Satterley took the lead and went on to win this race a year ago, and he is on the move here tonight. 27 laps on the board, and he is trying to catch race leader Tyler Emery. It is a high-speed chase here at Hagerstown as they complete lap number 28 this time by.
7 circuits to go here at Hagerstown. Round 3 of Appalachian Mountain Speedweek. Emery continuing to be in control right now as he runs that middle to high groove off that second turn. Satterley in second trying to reel him in. He's got to do something fast. He's got to find a slip up by Emery or something to see if he can close this gap up a little bit more.
Last time by, buddy, it was a 2-second margin. Let's see if he closed it up this time by. Tyler Emery. And he is gaining on him. That was 1.6 seconds. That was the difference.
1.6, now 6 laps to go. He's really going to have to pedal that 22 hard if he wants any chance of winning this second straight race on this Speedweek Tour. Feathers, Troutman, and Dylan Yoder now, the top 5 as he gets around Matt Cosner.
And 5 laps to go. Here's the 5-lap sign from the starter stand. 1.4 seconds now separating the top 2. Satterley desperately trying to catch the leader. They may catch some traffic with 5 to go. We'll see.
2/10 a lap, yeah, because 2/10 a lap is not going to work with only 4 or 5 laps left to go. But he is indeed closing, and we have another update on the gap.
1 second, buddy. 1 second now separating them.
You can see Satterley pedaling hard as Emery works down the back straightaway. Trevor Feathers still with a shot, but it's got to come quickly for him. He's got some real estate to close. Still Troutman and Yoder, the top 5 with 3 laps to go this time by.
32 laps appearing on the scoreboard as they cross the line, and he is now under a second. 78 hundredths of a second separating the top 2 drivers as they race down the backstretch, nose to tail. And they are going to get the 2-lap sign this time by, and here's the race for the lead, soon to be for the win.
That was the first time Satterley was close enough to see if he can make a big down bottom or at least take a peek as he goes back into 1 and 2, and he is down bottom again. Going to be Emery in the middle of the high side. Satterley alongside that left rear quarter panel as they head down the back straightaway.
It was .33 the last time they crossed the line. White flag this time. And Greg Satterley slingshots into the lead and holds it here at the white flag.
If you'd have told me after that second restart that Greg Satterley would be in here if we had no more cautions, I wouldn't believe you. But that third caution, I think, really did benefit him. Something came back to life, or was he just playing the game that he plays so well? No tire management game, but Satterley cooking off turn number 4. Steve, take us to checkered.
Off turn number 4, the final time, and it is Greg Satterley for the second night in a row in the Appalachian Mountain Late Model Speedweek Series. Another victory, and this will strengthen his points lead going into round 4 at Path Valley on Tuesday night. It is Greg Satterley making a late race pass by Tyler Emery. The margin of victory, 1.2 seconds. Buddy, 5 laps ago, Emery had a 2-second lead. and then Satterley passes him and opens it up to 1.2 seconds.
You can never, it just never ceases to amaze me how good this driver is. You cannot count him out anywhere, and especially here at the Hagerstown Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is out of the car. How about a round of applause? What a drive for the truth here tonight, Greg Satterley. Greg, what a drive here tonight at Hagerstown. Coming from the 10th starting spot and a late race charge with 5 laps to go. You pulled it off, man.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, most of that race, I thought I was going to run about 5th. The caution came out there, and I got stuck on the inside, and I was really struggling to, slow down and get going again. So that inside starting spot on the restart cost me a couple spots, but it seemed like once everyone moved back to the bottom, I was able to get my momentum built back up and roll around a couple of those guys. But I mean, Tyler, I thought he was making really good laps, and I was just able to kind of gauge on what he was doing, on how hard I could go in, and that's really was able to allow me to catch him, was just corner entry speed, and then judging on, how much I needed to slip the car leaving the corner. But, congrats to those guys. They had a rough night last night, so it was good to see them, rebound and, get back up front. But, no, it was an awesome race. The track was really good. Like I said, I struggled to get going, but once I did, I was really able to maneuver well. But, thanks to Hagerstown and all these fans, on Sunday night, Jim Bernheisel with the series. It's always so fun coming here and racing. This is definitely my favorite place to come, or definitely one of them. So, but, thanks to my crew, Robbie, Drew, my dad, my wife, Kelsey, everyone that helps. It's always fun to come back here and race. But, thanks to my sponsors, Kaiser Manufacturing, Integra Racing Shocks, Classic Inc., All About Wraps, VP Racing Fuels, Hoosier Tires, AFCO Brakes, Clements, AFCO, Fast Andy Racing, Laz Fab Pit Sockets, Bruce, All About Wraps, does our decals, always has our car looking good. Everyone that helps makes this thing go, we couldn't do without them. And we'll be looking forward to coming back here as always.
Walk us through those last couple of laps. I think it was like with 5 to go, Buddy and I were watching the timing system. He had a 2-second lead on you, and every lap you just kept gaining on him, and then you made that winning pass down here in turn number 4. Walk us through that.
Yeah, like I said, I was able to really gauge on what he was doing, on what I needed to do, and just be where he wasn't, and I could make up ground on him. There was no cars in front of him, so I could be a lane off of him and basically have just as clean a racetrack as he did. So that really helped. But I saw the 2 to go, and I thought there was 1 to go, and I was like, I'm not going to make it. And I saw there were 2 to go, and I got a really good run off of 2 that lap and got right to his quarter panel, and I was just hoping he laid just a lane wide like he did, and I kind of snuck through there. I think there was about 1 car width. I was right against the guardrails in the mud, so hopefully I left him enough room, but I think I did. But yeah, so it worked out. Once I got out front of those last 2 laps, or last 1 lap, I felt like I was lost. As crazy as that sounds, I was kind of hanging on there at the end just because of how out of shape I got myself when I passed him. But held on for the win, so that's all that matters. So.
You told me last night you're racing for another championship in the series this year, and you're the only driver still eligible. Now, I know we're only 3 races down. We got a ways to go, but, there's that 5 for $5,000 bonus on the line from Sales Grove Ford if a driver can finish in the top 5 every event. And right now, you're the only driver who's finished in the top 5 in the first 3 races. So you're alive in that, but, I mean, it's a long way off, Greg, but, hey, you're still in line for that bonus.
Yeah, one race at a time. I think, 1 more yellow, and I get stuck on the bottom, and I could easily be running outside the top 5. But that last restart helped me, get position on those guys in front of me, and just, timely cautions sometimes play your way. So the second one definitely did. So thanks again to Hagerstown, all the fans for being here tonight and supporting us. We appreciate it, and hopefully we'll put on a good race next time.
You've had a lot of success here at Hagerstown. Congratulations, Greg.
Yeah, thank you.
Greg Satterley, ladies and gentlemen.